Go to Reds, or just go to the door. You might be able to get a ticket at the door. Just line up with everyone else. First of all, you ask for applause for each of those three films. Yeah. You read off.
It's absolutely fabulous to be here for the Metropolis Super 8 Film Festival.
This happens all day. Got a smile. Hello, Ross here. Wayne Murphy, more to the point, how are you going? How's that film of yours coming on? Okay. Well, look, it's going to run out at about 40, I'd say. 40 entries.
I must be getting used to it. I'm not able to gag.
Alright, can we have a reversal?
Yes, please. I'll have a reversal. Let's have a reversal.
Paul.
Okay. Let me just watch you put it.
Have a wig rack at the front of the door.
President, thank you.
What are you doing, Larry?
I bought my false eyelashes.
Get ready.
Okay, bye. Another entrant.
Another entrant? Well, how many have actually been received at this very point?
Well, late afternoon, Friday afternoon, we've only got about probably 20. I haven't included the box in the last couple of hours, but it's probably only 20.
I wouldn't lose hope at this point.
In some ways it shouldn't be a problem. The problem, of course, with having anything do very well in the first year is that the high jump bar is bloody high for the following years. If I was going into this, last year I was hoping for 30, 40 films, and that's what I kind of really hoped it would be a nice figure to start with, and I thought we'd grow. And as it turned out, we got blown away with 65 entries. But so I have to keep reminding myself that the event really relies on having 20 good films to show at a very, very big night with all the trappings, limousines, red carpet, media, everything, on November the 26th.
I used to work in Leicester in England for a few years, and they had there a Super 8 festival. Yeah, this was about mid-1980s, and it would run for about a week every year. And this was one of the kind of first major Super 8 festivals. So I would diligently go along to it, kind of thinking, well, I must kind of check this out. And my experience of it was sitting in a cinema for hours on end, watching pretty tedious bits of film which would send me to sleep, with an audience of very kind of keen but real kind of cine buff, cinephile type people, very kind of arty.
They got a free ticket, so what the heck?
Great. Do you know about Super 8?
Not a clue, no.
You'll have
The finals night at the Metropolis in Fremantle last year was probably one of the most exciting nights of my life. It was incredible. I popped out the front at one stage, and there was for 2 blocks, there were people dressed up glamorously, sort of waiting to get in. There were limousines dropping off filmmakers. There were paparazzi at the door, photographing everyone as they came in.
Then we get in there, and it's this nightclub there with balconies all around it. We are standing, we're not sitting, so it completely transforms the cinema experience there. And you may have talked about this before, but a kind of gladiatorial aspect to it. The contestants are downstairs there. The audience are all standing around, like baying for blood.
And then the other reason I was really keen to come was that I heard that the audience really gets into it, because as we're going to be running the scores all the way through the night, And I hear like towards the end of the night we get a bit of blood sport going.
So we not only had the spectacle of the films, we had the spectacles of the judges putting forward their viewpoints, and that at times was at kind of cross purposes with the audience.
I know that I couldn't do any better, but at the same time, I know I probably couldn't do any worse.
Time is 8:04 on RTRFM 92.1 with Genge, and with me in the studio there's Ross Hampton, also Mr. Shelly Fur. Good morning.
Morning, Mark.
Now, Ross is coming to talk about film, and actually, if you want, I want to explain what Super 8 is, just for those who don't know.
Is there anyone who doesn't?
I don't.
Oh, no.
8, I guess that's the measurement of the film, 8mm?
That's the width, yeah, 8mm, yeah. And Super 8 came out in the very early 60s as a more user-friendly domestic sort of way of shooting 8mm film. 8mm cameras have been around, everyone will remember them, they're the wind-up ones that Grandad had, and they often had a couple of lenses. Beautiful cameras.
Picture it now. Picture it now. And you'll enjoy it again and again when you bring back your holiday fun in action-packed Kodachrome colour movies. Look, they're made by Kodak, so you know they're good.
I see Super 8 filmmaking as a very underground thing, as being, you know, I mean, even Kodak doesn't like it. Kodak doesn't like developing it. They don't like producing things, but it's still going. It's totally outdated, but it's very sort of grainy and grungy and scratchy and tactile. It's a lot more tactile than, say, video is.
A few years ago, I was a Super 8 filmmaker who had no contact with any other filmmakers. I've not gone to film school. I'm not in film groups. I had a Super 8 basic camera and a cassette player, and I wanted a competition that meant people like that could enter on a level playing field. There is this sense in the film industry, I think in Australia, amongst young people, that it's incredibly accessible, that if you have good ideas, good scripts and people who will act for you, and the opportunity, that there's nothing to stop you making it as well.
I would have said 85. I really would have.
Yeah.
But I'm watering that down to the same number as last year now. I think
you still think it'll be way up there?
I think so, because
we've been 40 films.
We've been out and about, you know, kind of getting the vibe on Super 8 culture around Perth for the last 15 weeks. That's been quite a while, and a lot of people out there, we've either seen them in process or they've been expressing interest in making a film. So my view is, you know, if only half of those people actually achieve something at this point.
So you're going to, so you'd put a nice bottle of wine on between 60 and 70, would you?
65 is my number.
You can have a range of 10.
All right, between 60 and 70.
All right, Andrew?
Nice bottle of wine on between, what are we sitting at the moment? 17.
There's 20. 20 on the premises.
40 to 50.
You'd go up that high. Oh, you're both amazing.
How do you feel about being involved in this documentary?
It ups the ante, okay, and it makes things, there's a lot more at stake here now, really. I mean, my process is up at stake rather than just my vision and expression. And that certainly gets the blood flowing that little bit more, I think. And I can't help but think it'll be positive. Okay?
It could be really positive for all of us involved, I think, to show that we're keen and I hope relatively professional given what we're trying to get across or what we're trying to accomplish.
Because obviously you kind of responded to our advertisement, and I'm just interested in why you responded to the advertisement and what might be in participating in this documentary for you.
I often found with the footage that we caught with making the last movie, the things that weren't planned were often the most interesting. And yeah, I'd like to have it documented myself, yeah, the process would be great.
3 minutes is a good length of time to tell a short story.
So what's our big schedule for today?
Well, we wait for after a couple of stations out of it until it gets out of the city a bit, and then we begin filming.
Okay.
Simple.
This train runs from Perth to Midland, stopping all stations.
I mean, I don't think there was any one moment where I thought, right, filmmaker. You know, I'm coming to a stage in my life where I really want to start expressing myself and expressing the way I see about the world, or what I see in the world. And growing up with images all my life, it just seems like a natural progression to be expressing through images. Okay, places, guys. I'm going to be the director, okay, the script writer, possibly one of the characters within the train, okay, more than likely at this stage. It's about this person who takes a journey on a train, but once he gets on there, he's confronted by people in the train. Okay, they are trying to draw things out of him, and it's just about what goes on inside the carriage space as much as inside his mind.
I think you're attracting much attention.
Yeah, we walked through the train was all right.
Yeah. And Stuart, I've got to ask you: is this the first time you ever worn a straitjacket?
Voluntarily, yeah. I'm kind of getting used to it. I think this is possibly a correct career decision for me.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
My address is 12 Carrara, that's C-A-R-R-A-R-A Road, B-L-U-S.
You ask people to spell what you need to, but some people spell everything and other people just slur everything, so it's a nightmare. So my day starts at 5 when the phone starts to ring from people who think they're calling at 7 because it's a national competition and a lot of people's time is 2 hours different to Perth. Super 8 Film Festival. You'll have on the side 50 feet, because Super 8 film cartridges are 50 feet long, so that's how you know how much you've shot. Just the other day I had to ask Triple J to please stop promoting the festival because it's getting too big. It's just almost too much for me to manage because I'm just doing it on my own and run it from my home and from my home office. And the response rate has been overwhelming. It's been huge.
I know that there are a whole lot of brilliant filmmakers, film makers involved in this event, but where would you be without Ross?
Far too civilised. Yeah, it needs to be. So shoot starts weekend after next. So this weekend is like the last weekend. If anyone wants to go and plan or put things together, just bear in mind this is the last weekend to locate anything. We haven't got a specific location like scheduled yet, or shooting schedule yet. So that'll come up either start off tonight and happen later on this week. We can let you know. But I think that we have a winning bunch of people and a good script and every opportunity of doing well. Adam is our writer stroke director. Paul is our cameraman, and Zoe is doing wardrobe and helping out with the dressing of the cast. Anne is doing all our art direction and props on the day. If there's a step somewhere between a production manager and a producer, I think that's me. But I'm going to go for producer.
And what does that mean on this project for you in real terms? What will you be doing?
It's pretty hands-on. I'm also continuity, and I'm hoping to assist and edit on it. And I mean, everybody's doing everything, really. For me, it's just making sure it all happens on the day.
So, Dave, can I need your help here? Where do you think is the best spot for this camera? Along this line here, or should we pull it forward to there?
And I like to do something that's fairly accessible to all people. Most people can relate to it. Something that's fairly innocent. Got a few laughs in it, and a few bits where people sigh and stuff like that. So I tend to write fairly innocent tales for this kind of stuff, and this is what this one is really. It's an innocent tale about a young boy dreaming about becoming a rock and roll star, marrying the girl of his dreams, and escaping his great background. We're having a good time, I think. It's working well. So.
Oh, yes!
I'm just meant to be like this mystery dream girl, I suppose. Sexy and not really my qualities, but yeah.
Alright, shall we have a reversal?
Yes, please. I will have a reversal. Let's have a reversal. Let's go for a roll.
Go and take one in 3, 2, 1.
Action.
There was one shot in particular that we had to do a number of times because it was just things kept on going wrong. I'm trying very hard not to swear here.
It took on a sort of surreal look after a while because it just was like, let's just do it again. It was sort of like hypnotising. Okay, we'll do it again. Okay, we'll do it again. But we got it in the end. It was worth it. It's a really good shot.
I've actually been asked to remind you that the theme for all of this evening's films is music.
He says, yeah, he's the weatherman. Clean and clear, no fear. He's the weatherman. Down the beach without a care.
Initially I'm more the motivator to get two other people involved, and the two other guys that I'll be working with have actually studied film and television, so they're going to have more knowledge than I am. But I guess just an overseer, just to make sure the project's finished. I might have a small part in acting in it too, you know, we're going to try and swap the roles around maybe, and yeah, but as far as titles, director, producer and all that go, I don't think they really make sense in a movie like this.
Let's just do a change. Let's play.
And we've got a character in mind of this wacky weatherman who lives and breathes weather. You know, first thing in the morning he's checking out the conditions and sniffing the air, etc., to find out what the weather's going to be. We thought he'd be a fairly localised weatherman instead of doing the whole state or whatever, that he'd just, you know, do Fremantle and wear wacky clothes and have a very big sort of live show where he comes in and there's a live band and a lot of followers, you know, people that rush in to watch the weather. It's like more important than the news.
And then hand on the and the girl in the bikini sees the hand on the ground.
And why did you decide to do a soundtrack first?
Yeah, we had narrative problems with describing what was happening with the characters, but a simple line in a song can say everything.
To make a 3-minute song itself is a job in itself, let alone making it a script for a movie.
But I think the first time I came here, when I started interviewing people about Perth, you know, I naively asked about the outpost mentality and basically got told to fuck off. And then I just realised that you're so far away from all the wankers in the east, and I'm one of them, so I can speak for them, that things just happen differently and better over here. So it's important to keep coming back, to stay in touch.
I'm going along that rail at the moment, so just... Is it maybe better this side?
In the little blue box over there is my little blue goo that I'm expelling from myself. It's chicken noodle soup with blue food colouring.
That is the most revolting stuff I have ever seen.
It doesn't taste too bad.
3, 2, 1, go. Go.
Was it a bit too much like a spray rather than a... No, serious?
It was like, no, you really felt like it was coming up.
Yeah?
Like I was wondering whether you're actually vomiting.
Oh no.
I guess I think I have a bit of a natural kind of flair for just getting the right kind of shot and, you know, having a sense of what's going on basically around you. It's almost thinking outside of the camera as well. But yeah, I really do like Super 8. So yeah, and if someone else is paying for the film, I'm happy to be behind the camera.
And how far away are we now from wrapping up cinematography on this project?
Let's see. One more shot to do today, and then credits, basically.
Traditionally, you think of the director kind of looking through the camera from time to time and framing up from a distance, but, you know, you're on the other end of the lens.
The kinds of things I'm addressing are obviously very personal, the way I feel about things and the way I see things working. And I suppose having me in there, yeah, it does very much personalise it for the audience, possibly, okay? And, yeah, and I suppose personalises the whole experience for me. I'm not that distant, I'm right in there and amongst it. And it's been fun. You know, I've gone so far now, I'm almost there, and I don't want it to turn out bad. You know, that would be very bad. Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
So how do I feel? I feel like I've got stuff to do.
But is there time to do it?
Oh yeah, if I can film it today, which I probably won't be able to. If I film it tomorrow, then you know it'll come back into next week, and I wouldn't have thought I'd start splicing before middle of next week. So I don't know, might even sneak a few other shots in there. Yeah, no, I'm not worried about time. Just worried about, you know, the fact it didn't work out.
This Christmas, give fun. Give a Kodak camera. All the family will have lots of fun seeing their own colour movies when the gift is a Kodak 8 movie camera. Only £18.19 at your Kodak dealer. It's just one of the many cameras to choose from in the Kodak Camera Parade.
Finding the equipment is I suppose, part of the adventure with Super 8, because you can't go down to Myers and buy one of these.
I saw a little Super 8 camera in a second-hand shop when I was looking for something else. I was looking for a prop, actually, for something we were doing at uni, and there was just a little Super 8 camera there for $50 with a little editor and a little the projector, and the whole kit was for $50, and just too good to pass up. So
this was a $3.50 camera at a market. In fact, a guy threw in another camera that doesn't work with it. But that's what I really love about Super 8, is that they're still around in markets for almost nothing.
We had the last Super 8 was amazing, beautiful. That set was gorgeous.
Congratulations, Anne. Love you.
It was
love your
absolutely
work.
fabulous. Right. Today we shot the wedding reception scene, which is, I guess, the gist of the whole film, or the crux, if you like. So we had to set up for an entire banquet, guests, tables, band, whatever, the whole kit. 3, 2, 1, There was a few things that we almost had trouble getting together for this one. But everything fell into place. I thought we were going to be short of cast for this, of extras, but we all had to get dressed up ourselves and drop into place. And then things like couldn't get a drum kit till the last minute and all that sort of stuff that you think that will just fall into place that just doesn't. We could still try to chase up a drum kit, but if you guys bring the mic stands, we've got a bass guitar and a mandolin and a, what's the name that I keep forgetting? Bouzouki. It all sort of came together, and then although I was a bit scared about everybody getting a bit testy on set, it was sort of all over in an hour or so once we started shooting, and they went home and everything's fine, so it's good.
Okay, and can you tell us what's happening tomorrow?
Tomorrow, hopefully we're getting the rest of the main body of the film out of the way, so then we've only got a couple of little pickup shots to get. So it's mostly externals, sort of filler scenes to set the bit more character exploration, really, and hopefully quite simple because there's no lighting and sort of set work involved, so it'll be nice. Yeah, looking forward to it.
I'm playing a young Greek boy, about 16, and he's got these wild fantasies about being a rock legend. I was sitting in my agent's office, and Adam, the director, called my agent. It was either Adam or Anne-Marie, and I think I was there by chance, and he was looking for someone to play the role. And my agent told him there's someone sitting right across from me who fits your description.
3, 2, 1, action. Wakes up, look around, laugh at her, and run. Yeah. That's how I feel. Can we do a bit of a sort of like a slow?
I've got a lot of faith in Paul, but you like to have a look, so that it's the only way you can really see what's going on. But yeah, I guess it just depends on, you know, how often you've worked. I've only worked with Paul, like this is the first time, so I don't really have much of an idea. I'm still learning a lot from him and vice versa, I guess. But yeah, I reckon just every now and then you want to have a look through it. You don't want to upset your cinematographer. Not into the centre, just left to centre. Have a look at that now.
You've reframed, have you?
Yeah, just a touch. So.
Now, there's no dynamics in that. Everyone's effort culminates in these few days that you shoot on, and my finger's on the button.
Yeah, that's the pressure of being a cinematographer, really, isn't it? Who wants that job?
Yeah.
And when was it that you first became interested in the Metropolis Super 8 competition?
I saw the ad for it last year, okay, and saw Super 8, okay, you know, make a film. I'm thinking about doing film next year. And I thought, I rang up the girl and said, look, you know, what do I have to do? You know, I've got this video camera, you know, can I do it? And she said, oh, actually, it's film, right? And I said, isn't Super 8, you know, it's a kind of video camera? I said, no, that's high 8.
But what people don't understand is that it doesn't, Super 8 being old doesn't mean it's outdated. It doesn't mean that the technology has been superseded by digital video even. Super 8 still does things that you can't do on video.
It's not like video, you can get your immediate feedback and you know where you're going. Film is just this huge risk every single day.
This is film, it's got that kind of aura about it, hasn't it? Just film rather than video. It's taken me a while to realise the distinction.
Well, why don't we get this Metropolis second Super 8 Film Festival underway and meet our first filmmaker, Helen Keeley. Where are you, Helen? Be outstanding down there in the front row. There's Helen.
Hello. Hey, Brett.
How you doing?
Good. Can we come in?
Yeah, come in.
Okay. Come on, Natalie. How's it going?
Very well.
Excellent. We're just
getting
a track. Okay. So what's happening today?
We're doing inside shots of the studio, the weather show. We're trying to mix it with the music at the same time. Yeah, we've had a major script rewrite actually. Mainly that it wasn't funny enough and we were getting a bit too serious, so thought lighten it up, turn it more comic.
Sunny or rainy, rainy or sunny, sunny or rainy, rainy or sunny. I'm the weather, I'm the weather, I'm the weather, I'm the weather man.
Beautiful. Play that back.
Yeah, changed the structure completely. It's just one show now from start to end. Before it was like a day in his life. Yep. So now it's actually an episode of the Weatherman meets the Digit Gobbler or something.
The Digit Gobbler?
Yeah.
What's the Digit Gobbler?
He's going to be the bad guy. He chops off people's fingers.
What are you going to do with that on?
Don't know. Get in the mood.
We should all have one.
Yeah.
Have a wig rack at the front of the door.
That's the crowd. We were going to have a live crowd and all that, and then we basically just keep trying to make it more simple.
The music, the da 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 da. Doesn't sound like the beginning of the weather, but
The music turned out great. We got probably more than we needed.
Enough for an album?
Yeah, for sure.
Sequel at least?
Yeah, it was good jam. But we were really looking for only 2 to 3 flavours of music. One sort of manic, one cruisy, and then the weather show, which you'll sing.
Rainy, rainy or sunny, sunny or rainy, rainy or sunny, sunny or
I don't know why filmmakers always want to work right up to the deadline. I think it's something about wanting that adrenaline rush and feeling that angst of the creative process fully. So you really want to make sure you don't start making your film until pretty close to the deadline, and that way you can build maximum stress into the activity.
Oh, there's a film.
Hey, Paul. Yes. Hey, look at that. Projector. This is a crew making a little doco. Do you mind if they film you?
No, it's alright.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, just leave it in the envelope with all your bits and pieces. You just get...
To direct for the first time was pretty scary, but it was a good challenge.
In she goes. Oh God, it went all the way. I can't get it back now.
It's been a bit of a nightmare. One of the things I enjoyed most last year was getting the films, because people just used everything to wrap them. Some of them came in newspaper, some in plastic bags. I got a tobacco tin with the film in it last year, and
I just think I'm not a good editor. Let's just say that.
I had no editing equipment. I've begged, borrowed, and stolen all the gear that I've used. It's been a couple of hours since I've cleared the box, so we shall see. We've got a few in there.
Yeah, a couple in there.
That's a nice little presentation. There you are. Whinge Records. One morning at a public radio station.
Public radio station.
Okay, so this is the big one, everybody. He's the weatherman. Beware, he's the man. You can destroy evil with his bat. Beware, he's the man. He's so cosmic, you wouldn't understand. Beware, he's the man. Evil has no chance.
Sunny or rainy, rainy or sunny, sunny or rainy, rainy or sunny, sunny or rainy, rainy or sunny.
And in this episode, Weatherman slays the Ginger Devourer, Part 2.
He sniffs the air, he's the weatherman, he's the weatherman. TV show, see how the numbers go. Clean and clear, he's the weatherman, he's the weatherman. But in the presence of evil, an evil face in the crowd, he'll protect the people, he'll sniff it out. What's that smell? What's that smell? Searching back the other day. What's that up there? Think I'll go and have a look. Looked in the bushes. What did I see lurking there? A finger, a desperate digit. Back on my bike, always on the scent. Watch out, man. What's that smell? It's gotta be somewhere. That should be that evil man looking over there. I almost got those pensioners. What's that? Indigenous people who cut off their fingers. Oh no! He's the weatherman.
Beware, he's the man.
He'll destroy evil with his bare hands.
Beware, he's the man.
He's so cosmic you wouldn't understand.
Beware, he's the man.
Evil has no chance. He always gets his man.
Beware.
Of evil, get your knife off that weatherman. Weatherman, you protect the people. He'll dish out the day. He'll dish out the day.
And in tomorrow's forecast, watch out for stray tidal waves. 43 today, 22 tomorrow. Don't forget the humidity is still low. Cloud descending over that roaring mountain.
Radiate.
Tune in same time next week when Weatherman whips the fruit bowl shredder in a half-packed double cone triple twisted soft serve. Nuts with a serious twist.
Just to make
making of it was just hilarious.
I like the leap too, the double wind up before he jumps.
You G yourself up until you're totally hysterical, and then you do it, and the things that come out, like the watch that pensioners, watch out pensioners! Things that just come out at the last moment when you don't expect it.
How do you feel about the end product?
I'm right. That's come together great.
Beware, he's the man.
Better go to Reds, or just go to the door. You might be able to get a ticket at the door. Just line up with everyone else. Okay. Hi, how are you?
So it was quite working quite well.
Yeah, you kind of shoved anyways, but this was
We have a huge show on our hands. This is going to be massive. I mean, it's just already started. The vibe is up. I'm really excited.
I'll just go and find Ross and see if I can call you.
Yeah, this last week has been pretty tough, and even just like when I saw you, when I spoke to you last, I was really kind of almost cocky, you know, just I'd got my film back and, you know, the next stage and look out, and then seeing the film was a real kind of a healthy dose of reality. And you probably saw me, I was just kind of didn't quite know how to take it all. So I suppose it wasn't necessarily bad, it was just a real kind of non-feeling.
I think what I'm getting from you at the moment is, yeah, a sense of a bit of suffering going on, but also iron resolve.
Well, yeah, this week was very much a case of, you know, just getting up in the morning and each day going back to the edit suite and having another go at it. Because at no stage up until Saturday night did I feel happy with it.
As you're about to go into the judging, what do you think are the strongest points of this film?
I have no idea. In terms of something to be judged by the powers that be, I have no idea. Things that are working for me is that it's weird. Hopefully they don't quite know what's going on. Because I don't quite know what's going on, okay? And the music's a bit like that. It's quite a lot of distortion and a bit kind of not matching the film, right? But then again, slightly matching it. So it's just a real enigma, okay? Which is what I'm looking for, okay? Enigmatic, but still some really cool movements and some really good shots and some camera angles. And lurking beneath there is a bit of a narrative.
Good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Metropolis.
I thought I'd check it out and see what's happening. I talked to Ross last weekend and he said come on down, so...
Thank you, darling!
It's also my great privilege to have here at the Metropolis Club to help us decide this a panel of eminent judges. Let me introduce them to you now. Eminent and gorgeous. On this end of the table we have Mark Douglas, film reviewer for the West Australian. Barb Hagan, Triple J reporter and presenter. On the far end there, if we can light up, we see John Rapsey. John's a Screen West board member and he is also our preeminent scriptwriter in WA. So it's now my absolutely enormous pleasure to
bring on stage someone who we had to work extremely hard in order to get this gentleman over here, because he is in such demand. Peter Castaldi.
If I ever go driving, I drive all the time.
Okay.
I haven't got my out point yet.
Okay, well, what do you want me to do about that? Sorry?
Show me a bit of sympathy, perhaps.
I think something that's really stood out about your production for me has been the level of pre-planning and organisation in it. And is that reflected in the cutting of the final product? Have you gone away from the original concept in any way? Have you been tempted to tell the story differently, or is it just slotted in?
No, we pretty much stuck to it. We storyboarded it all this
It was so, yeah, it was one of those, it was locked in, more so even I think than last year, do you think?
You've had that experience of being there when the audience has received the film. What was that like?
You know when you're like at high school or something and you go in some race or in like an athletics or swimming and you can hear the crowd cheering. Somehow when you're the one who's racing or swimming or whatever, the crowd always sounds heaps louder. So when our film came on last year, it was like, it just seemed to me that everyone was really getting into it much more than they did for any other film. I have no idea if that's the case, probably wasn't at all, but you just tuned and that's all you hear. So for me it was a real buzz because it seemed like the audience was getting heaps out of it last year.
It depends too on how well the audience receives it. If they like it, then it's good. If they don't like it, then it's awful.
I like the idea in this one, but it's just so sloppy and so rough that it doesn't realise this idea. It made me laugh. 7.
Barb? Despite the fact that I have no bugger all about Greek mythology, so it made absolutely no sense to me whatsoever, it did make me laugh occasionally. So yeah, I'll give it a 7 as well.
7. John?
Oh, gosh, I'll have to disagree, won't I? No, this was one of the most enjoyable films that I've seen all night. What I liked was the exuberance of the idea. The accomplishment of it was a different thing altogether, so I give it a 6.5.
John, can I just ask you a question?
Sure thing.
Have you been on water all night?
Barb Hagen just poured me a huge glass of champagne.
Well, can you start drinking it?
Okay.
We've got 49 fantastic little films to view, and I'm absolutely sure it's going to be a really interesting and good day because the quality of the films is going to be right up, I think, on last year.
It's such a responsibility because the amount of work that's gone into these films, you realise when you're watching them that it's an extraordinary effort from the filmmakers, and we have a responsibility to judge the first one we see, or rather judge the last one we see to the same criteria as the first one. And that's difficult because by the time you've seen 40 or 50 films, you're mentally and physically exhausted.
Okay, let's look at your judging categories. Script is obviously the story. I put here characterisation instead of acting because that also covers animation, but essentially that's your direction, stroke acting, stroke characterisation column.
We're going to have another crack at, what was it called? That's it. Strike again. No, that's it. Look at this, Adam. This is how you do a splice.
Make your family movie stars with a Kodak movie camera. Save those days you treasure most with a Kodak movie camera. Keep every precious memory the Kodak movie way.
Rosshampton Communications, 242C Cane Highway, East Fremantle.
I know that address.
What's it say?
It is with regret that I inform you that your film was not selected by the preliminary judging panel for inclusion in the 20 films for the Metropolis Super 8 Film Festival.
What's the news, Brett?
We didn't make the top 20 in the final. That's the news.
The end. A negative space. Alicia Walsh and Fabrizio Lipari are still neck and neck on 26.5. And we only have 3 films to go. So what are we gonna do? We gotta hope for something really tough to come up. Adam Podger.
It's the next set of traffic.
They really are.
lights.
The property's certain. I hope so. I mean, if not, there's nothing we can do about it. So lovely. This for Ross. Where's our limo?
Okay, so keep your eye out though.
Oh, we won't miss a limo. Limo.
Hang on, I'll open the door.
Yeah, that's okay. We're ready. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
At last. Oh, annoyed?
Yes.
Guest list.
Podger and Marie Sorogo.
Right down the bottom there somewhere.
No, we're on the bloody list.
The 2 Adam Podgers. Well, who's the other person? Anne-Marie. Just any old Anne-Marie. Just, you're at an awards ceremony, so you figured you'd get up there. Well, okay. Rock's new legend. Let's see if Adam can do it. stand up. Are you in advertising or something? Like that, but that's the cheap trick, the bouzouki music. I mean, that's like, you know, manipulate your audience. Shouldn't it have been like Zorba the early years or something? No? You can sit down now. Judges. Judges are conferring on this one. Ah, look. There's been a conference. I feel something in the air. I feel a 26.5 blowout. Prove me wrong, Mark.
What I like about this one is that of all the films tonight, this is the one that actually has an ending that actually rounds off the narrative. I'm not convinced it's the best filmmaking of the evening, but we've seen so few narratives that are coherent, that work, that are funny. I love the twist towards the end. That I'll give it 9. It's not my top mark, but I'll give it 9.
John.
I've seen from Adam's entry last year and this year is the birth of a director. You know, somebody who has a real strong sense of where to go, where to put the camera, what to do next, how to move the narrative forward. I just think this is a lovely piece of work. I give it a 9.
From Metropolis to Bollywood. Adam, man, you're a rocket. You're a star. 18. Barb.
I thought it was a great movie. I really enjoyed it for the same reasons that these guys did. You know, it was just a really pretty little story about this guy, but I just don't think it's a winner. So I'm going to have to give it an 8. But I really liked it.
Ooh. So the winners, the equal winners of first prize are, for the end, Fabrizio Lipari, and for negative space, Alicia Walsh. Will you please both come to the stage?
Let the study. Go version.
Welcome to the world premiere. Okay. Of what? Of The Blues.
There's the Blues.
Come on, guys. Come on in, quicker.
Come on. We haven't started yet.
No, we're just about to start. Just on a serious note, you are the first to watch it, really. So thank you, everyone, for coming along. This is exciting.
Even the least event had lines. But that's just it. Which line to choose? Now let me show you the time when I did choose.
Nice guitar case, motherfucker. What's inside?
What's inside? Music.
Surface.
Surface.
job is to tell it like it is. When you wear masks, you just go back into everyday life, and you're always aware of this.
Try this test question. Go to your friends and say, I need all your time this weekend for you to be in my video, and see what they say. And then say, I need you to commit your weekend for me to be in my film. It's a very different reaction.